Marion Robert Morrison, Archibald Leach, Bella Ferenc-Desoblasco, or as you would know them, John Wayne, Cary Grant, and Bela Lugosi.
Yes.
Hollywood, a place where you can just change your name at will to something a little more sexy, a little less clunky. People do it all the time. It's a normal practice. Yet, there are still actors with terrible names who insist on using them. Actors such as Carrie Snodgrass, Billy Crudup, Swoozy Kurtz, and the absolute worst, Imogen Poots.
Yeah, Imogen Poots.
Imogen is perfectly fine.
But that's an obnoxious name because it's not Imogene. It's Imogen. And so it's like, oh, she spends her entire life going, no, Imogen. It's like, that. Gone Girl has two. It has Rosamund Pike, which I believe is how you get through western Montana, and Carrie Coon, who is a friend of a friend.
Why do they do it, Craig?
I don't know.
Just proud of their family name?
It's a profession where you can just slough that off and take on a new name. And all of the Poots and the Coons and the Pikes, they're like, I'll keep it.
I've got a bunch of movies that I've never seen before. You don't know what they are. Every episode, I'm going to spring one on you. It might be good. It might be bad. We'll watch it and talk about it. Welcome to the basement. You know what we've never watched on this show? A sports movie. You and I are not exactly sporting fellows.
No, we're not.
Personally, I've got nothing against sports. I only dislike watching them and playing them. But I like movies about sports, so that's what we're going to watch today.
Oh, excellent.
So what sport do you think we'll be featuring in tonight's movie? Baseball? Football? Foosball? None of those, because this is not even a team sport. Also, this is not fiction. This is real. And it features a real-life future governor. Tonight, I am going to pump you up with pumping iron.
Oh! Wow. I didn't know what future governor was going to be. It was going to be this guy or Reagan.
Jesse Ventura is another possibility.
Jesse Ventura, yes, of course.
Released in 1977, this so-called docudrama focuses on the 1975 Mr. Universe and Mr. Olympia competitions. It stars Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lou Ferrigno. This film not only made a star out of Mr. Schwarzenegger, but it also made a star out of bodybuilding. The number of commercial gyms in the United States increased significantly after its debut. Lou Ferrigno also got pretty famous as a result of pumping iron, but despite his success, he got very angry. So angry that he transformed into some kind of man-beast, a Hulk, if you will. He wandered the countryside, solitary and alone, occasionally pursued by a pesky reporter, and was never heard from again.
Well, I hope this guy wins. if we're going to be following this guy around, I hope he comes out on top.
Well, Craig, you're a pretty physically fit man, but you don't look particularly strong to me.
Thanks.
Specifically, your hands don't look quite strong enough. Here's something that might be able to help you out.
Ah, one of these things.
You can work out while we watch the movie.
Yeah. By the end of this, I'm going to thumb wrestle you to death.
It's surprising to me that this is the first episode where you've threatened me with death.
Oh, I do most of that off camera, I guess.
Right. Get to the old leather couch! Now, do it! So we can watch the real-life saga of big, burly, muscled men in pumping iron. You're doing that wrong.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I can feel it now. I am doing it wrong. Pumping Iron, a movie about big, manly men, starts out in a ballet studio.
Pull your weight back onto this, off that leg.
Bend your left spine.
Where Arnold Schwarzenegger and a friend of his are learning how to pose properly.
He is a beefy beast.
Do you have any lamentations for me to hear, woman?
But I have not scared the enemies before me yet. The lamentations are too early. It's 1975, and muscle-bound men pose and strut around like prize peacocks, because everyone wants to be Mr. Olympia or Mr. Universe. He looks like a human walnut.
Cut to Gold's Gym.
Various men are grunting and sweating and lifting, when who should show up but five-time Mr. Olympia Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's training for his 6th win, and after that he's going to retire from bodybuilding. I feel so embarrassed. I am only enormous. Arnold has no problem helping his fellow bodybuilders.
You make one line straight, so always remember that you have to have a line.
Imagine that you're pointing at the moon.
Raise up the hand.
And say Heil Hitler. No, don't do that. And philosophizing about bodybuilding.
It's as satisfying to me as coming is. You know, as having sex with a woman and coming. I'm like getting the feeling of coming in the gym. I'm getting the feeling of coming at home. I'm getting the feeling of coming backstage when I pump up.
I bet he doesn't even wipe off the machines with a towel after he's done.
Nope.
So I'm coming day and night.
Constant orgasms. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, I'm coming.
Terminal Island, California. A federal prison for men and women.
In the future, when I'm governor of California, I will execute all of you.
Now, the Mr. Universe competition is the amateur competition.
And two of the guys who are competing in it, Ken Waller and Mike
Katz, who is a junior high school teacher and just an all-around nice guy.
They're off to Pretoria, South Africa, where the Mr. Universe competition is happening. Ken Waller comes off as a bit of a douche.
Hey, you know what I'm going to do when I get to Africa? I'm going to take Katz's shirt, I'm going to hide it. I'm going to take everything I can find of his, hide it. Yeah, mess his mind up a little bit.
Yeah, the old t-shirt game.
It's surprisingly effective.
You didn't see a blue t-shirt around? Paul, you see a blue t-shirt around with my crusher?
It took me 5 years
to find my t-shirt. South Africa was a disaster. As the Mr. Universe competition, or as I like to call it, T-shirt Gate, comes to its final round, we find that Mike comes in 4th place. He doesn't make the finals. Ken, however, goes on to win 1st place. Nice guys always finish 4th.
Nice guys finished 4th.
I said that same joke.
Did you?
Yeah.
So now that we got the Mr. Universe pageant out of the way, next up comes Mr. Olympia. Yeah, this is the big one. This is for the pros.
I know this shot has Schwarzenegger and a mountain in, but I can't tell which is which.
No one can beat him. Except maybe for one guy. Lou Ferrigno.
Lou is working out with his dad, Manny, who's an ex-cop. Lou's got a great physique, and he knows what he's doing, but he's young. Can he beat the more seasoned Schwarzenegger?
I fought the ocean and I won.
This is like Chariots of Fire, but with more prancing muscles. Ah! I've heard of reverse cowgirl, but this is ridiculous. I imagine if one of these guys gave another one of these guys a hug, it would sound like balloons rubbing together.
He may be training twice as hard. You just gotta keep coming back stronger.
Listen to your dad, Stu Ferrigno. Schwarzenegger talks about his theory of the pain barrier. That to be a really successful bodybuilder, you have to work out past the point where you are feeling pain. To build your muscles to grotesque sizes. That's what it takes to be a champion, conquering the pain barrier.
So therefore I have to cut my emotions off and be kind of cold.
I have to act like a machine that looks like a human. Then we meet another competitor.
Franco Colombo, the premier bodybuilder in the world under 200 pounds.
Franco comes from Sardinia. We see a little bit of his home life back then. But he's gone off to California.
Ladies and gentlemen.
The world's funniest whoopee cushion joke is about to commence.
Of course, I think I'm gonna win.
I'm delusional.
And I'm more muscular.
And when I win, I will devour his corpse.
All the superheroes are assembling in one place.
Pretoria, South Africa.
Playground of apartheid.
For the Mr. Olympia competition.
Watch out now, Lou.
Lou, your lunch is here.
Lou Ferrigno asks Arnold out for breakfast the day of the big competition. Perfect, Schwarzenegger seems to think. I can totally destroy this guy before we even get on stage. This is porn movie music, you know.
This is a porn movie of sorts.
Yep. Finally, the big competition.
In the under 200-pound division, Franco Colombo comes out on top.
And now we come to the heavyweights, over 200 pounds.
We cannot bring them all on stage at once, or else the stage will collapse. And they will break through to the core of the earth and cause an extinction-level event. Ferrigno poses. Arnold poses. Another guy poses who we haven't heard of until now, so we know he's not going to win. Oh, this is the big moment, Craig. Who's going to win the big man competition? In the over 200-pound division, Lou Ferrigno comes in third. Of course, the one, the only, Arnold Schwarzenegger, wins first place. Now it's down to Schwarzenegger and Columbo. We will now slather them in barbecue sauce and watch them fight. Who's going to be the overall champion? You look at the guy in the DVD box, you know the answer to that. It's Schwarzenegger. He wins his 6th Mr. Olympia, and he retires from bodybuilding.
There's a party afterwards, everyone's hanging out.
And Arnold smokes a joint.
Probably medicinally. And the movie ends with the two rivals taking a bus back to the airport and making plans for the future. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
The beefy graduate. Pumping iron. Well, we have blasted our abs, our quads, and our minds by watching Pumping Iron.
Yes, we have.
Did this movie pique your interest?
It wasn't the most fascinating documentary I've ever seen. It was fine.
It does everything that a story should do.
Yeah.
It sets up protagonists and antagonists. It sets up a goal. There's an arc of getting there. You're building to a climax. But a lot of this movie was not interesting.
No.
It was the cinematic equivalent of flipping through a muscle magazine.
Yeah.
Just lots of just posing. The muscle porn aspect of the movie.
Even in the shower.
Yeah.
That was muscle porn if there ever was one.
Even the staunchest bodybuilding enthusiast, I would think, would get a little bored with it.
So what were the better aspects of the movie?
I liked the fact that we really saw into the mind of this champion. Historically, people have painted Schwarzenegger as this meathead, but he's not. He's incredibly smart, even back then.
He's intelligent, he's charming.
You can see why he conquered Hollywood.
And you can see why he conquered everything. He was a bodybuilder, he was an actor, and then he became a politician.
Sure.
It's like he was just unstoppable.
Thank God he was born in Austria and he can't inevitably become president.
Yes.
Because he probably would do it. And he can work a crowd, he can work a camera, he can work the ladies.
He can work his opponent's minds,
Yeah.
and they'll love him for it.
Is Schwarzenegger the villain of this movie? You don't hate him.
No.
He's not hiding anybody's t-shirt.
I don't think he's villainous. I just think it's everything in the movie leads to him. Even when he's not around, his name keeps coming up. You know, he's Mr. Olympia for a reason. This guy is the undisputable. He's the undisputable top guy.
You suddenly turned into Don King.
Undisputable Aries. And I am very happy that they did show the pain. That it wasn't just like, hey, check it out, we're just so casually strong. It's like, these are the strongest men in the world, and they hurt.
That's another pro of the movie, is that you get to see these bodies that never even knew this was possible. It's like going to the zoo.
I knew bears were big, but that's a huge bear, yeah.
Did you ever think Lou Ferrigno had a chance? He's just painted as this underdog that is going to remain the underdog.
He's so isolated from everyone else, but not in the inspiring way that Rocky is, even though it's basically the same origin story as Rocky.
He's got such a kind of hangdog attitude. He doesn't have the confidence of anyone else in the film.
The only reason why it seemed like he was competition was that in just a little way, Arnold acknowledged the fact that he was the only competition. He was the one he had breakfast with that day to try to mess with his head.
Yeah.
Or at least as far as we know.
He might have had 7 breakfasts that morning. Arnold Schwarzenegger's breakfast order. Bring me as many eggs as I can stand. Final thoughts on Pumping Iron.
Do I have a final thought on this movie? I don't even know. What's your final thoughts on Pumping Iron?
What's my final thought?
Yeah.
Look at that. Straight line.
Straight line?
Straight line.
No, you go down here a little bit. Don't scrunch your... There you go. Actually, that's pretty good. See, I bumped the tripod. That's how strong I am.
Well, we've just had quite a workout watching Pumping Iron. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Now go hit the showers. Or better yet, hit our website, welcometothebasementshow.com. You can see all the episodes that we've ever made. And also, there's a little PayPal donation button. You can donate a few dollars to support this show. It's something that is a thing. And it won't hurt like bodybuilding.
No.
Some lucky I don't know if they're lucky, but they're nice people. They've donated to this show. And here they are. Patrick, who says, you and Craig have a great repartee and wit, and you talk about movies the same way me and my friends do. Marcus, Catherine, Robert, Martin, who says, greetings from Denmark. Jared, Ashley, William, Stuart, Zach, who says, I recently watched all the episodes in order and plan to watch more movies in the future. And Mitchell, who says, I showed my dad the show a few months back, and the two of us have been shouting, oh God, oh man, ever since. That's from Tough Guys Don't Dance. Thank you, Mitchell. Thank you, all of you. And thanks to everybody else for watching.
Thank you.
As you know, the holidays are coming up. If you're looking for a gift for a special someone, you might not know that Tona, our camera lady, also is a jewelry designer. And you can check out her designs at annapolana.com. There's some cool stuff there. Take a look.
Anna Polana rolled out of bed and she ran to the police station.
I have a couple more customer comments to read here.
Excellent.
It's some people who have had some brushes with fame associated with the movie Pet Sematary, which we watched on this show. Ollie Brunton says, my mom saw this in theaters with Joey Ramone, just so they could hear his song during the credits. He was asleep by the end.
I'm imagining Joey Ramone like sprawled over 8 or 9 different different chairs.
Yeah, I'm sure he was.
Midnight showing in Brooklyn.
Pet Sematary, of course, was directed by Mary Lambert. Joshua DePue writes, ha 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 ha, Mary Lambert is my professor at NYU.
Whoa.
She's awesome. Joshua, next time you need an extension on a paper or you're late on a project, just tell her that a Gatoroid ate your homework. And it should work. And now, it's time. I can't do it. I can't.
You can do it.
I can't do it.
You can do it. Just say it.
For seeing it.
Seeing it.
Patricia Corey Parsons writes, would love to see a version of Seen It and hear your opinions about books turned into movies. That's a great idea, Patricia. That's why tonight we're doing Seen It, Read It.
These are movies that we have not only seen, but we have read the books that they are based on.
Mr. Sweet Films writes, have you guys seen the 1966 adaptation of Ray Bradbury's hot-selling classic, I see what you did there, Fahrenheit 451, a French film with German actors based off an American novel? I highly recommend it. Seen it?
Read it.
I was surprised at how well written that book was. I always thought of Ray Bradbury as more of a kind of utilitarian writer, but he's actually very poetic, and his prose is beautiful. Mm-hmm. The movie is very strange. It's a really disjointed experience. Oscar Werner and Truffaut were not speaking to each other because Oscar Werner had gone off to Hollywood and got kind of a swelled head and thought he was a big movie star. And so he just seems very bored by the whole thing.
I was bored by the whole thing. I'm not a fan of this movie. I don't even know if I finished it when I tried watching it. There is one aspect of the movie that I found wonderful, and that was the book burning sequences. They were so beautifully done.
The supreme irony about making a movie about the evils of book burning is that you have to burn books to do it.
Danny Bell asks, Deliverance, have you seen it? Seen it.
Read it.
The movie is amazing. It's so powerful all these years later. I think that maybe one of the best bits of casting ever is Burt Reynolds in that movie. The way that the main character talks about Lewis in the book is that he's just God amongst men.
Yeah.
And seeing Burt Reynolds in 1972, you're totally on his side.
The ecstasy of terror. I think that's the core of the book, because all these terrible things happen, and Ed, the main character, is just pushed to his limits, and it's up to him to save everyone, and he loves it. Mm-hmm. He loves every minute of it. And that's something that doesn't really come through in the movie.
Yeah.
Which I think is a key to the story.
Airy Unleashed writes, Guys, an interesting H.P. Lovecraft movie is The Call of Cthulhu from 2007. You should see it. It's a silent film, too. Seen it.
Read it.
That's not the whole thing of Call of Cthulhu.
Call of Cthulhu is a very small portion of this book,
yes.
But it is a very journalistic bit of storytelling. It's the day the world almost ended, and then you see all the ripples that it causes throughout the world.
The movie is very, very fun. It is filmed as a silent movie, and they try their best to make it look as though it was made in 1925.
It's obviously a labor of love. My one beef with the movie is that it's obviously shot on video, and that kind of takes you out of the experience. Nestor Najawa writes, The Magnificent Ambersons. After the studio finished butchering the ending and hacking up Agnes Moorehead's performance, Orson Welles allegedly buried the true uncut masterpiece on the lot where they made the original Popeye cartoons. That is a very strange rumor. Seen it.
Read it.
It's an extraordinary epic about the
rise and fall of an American family.
Mostly the fall.
Yeah.
And they fall about as hard as any family could.
Yeah.
After I read this book, I was thinking back on it, and I made a list of all the mistakes that the Amberson and the Minifer families made throughout the book, and there's about 20 of them.
Yeah.
And they're all key to the destruction of their legacy.
Yes, well, good job, Ambersons. Sell your horse. That's what I say.
The movie is so brief that it just can't encompass the story and the gravity of what happens. And also the actor who plays Georgie Minifer.
Yeah, Tim Holt.
Holt, yeah, he plays it kind of sympathetically. And so the comeuppance that he receives seems not quite so deserved, and at the same time, not quite so devastating.
Also, I don't think Tim Holt was a very good actor, so he can't compete with Dolores Costello or Joseph Cotten, and particularly Agnes Moorehead, who, even though her performance is chopped up, gives a heartbreaking performance. Her vocal work in the movie is brilliant. I know what there is to know about the Running Man. Jack Reaper writes, The Running Man. Seen it.
Read it. I don't have a copy.
Yeah, I lost my copy years ago.
The book is way different than the movie. The
Yes.
book is much darker and much simpler. It's just about a guy not being chased by these cartoon villains. He's just being chased by guys with guns.
And not in an arena, but he's allowed to just run free across the United States, which I want them to make a movie out of the actual plot of The Running Man.
The movie really turned the story into almost a comedy.
It's American Gladiators gone bad, as opposed to what real reality TV manhunts would look like, which is how Stephen King wrote the novel. Oh, I'm sorry. Richard Bachman wrote the novel.
You almost gave it away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, that's Seen It.
And that's our show.
Thanks for joining us for Pumping Iron. We hope that you didn't overdo it and won't be sore tomorrow morning. If you do, take it easy. Go to our website, check that out. Go to Facebook and like us.
Oh, love us on Facebook.
There's a love option?
No, you can type it out. It's like, I love you guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. If you're a fan of the U.S. Postal Service, or snail mail, as some people refer to it, we have a P.O. Box. You can send us correspondence to Welcome to the Basement, P.O. Box 2702, Madison, Wisconsin 53701. And you know what, Craig?
What?
We got some postcards!
Did we?
Yeah! There's a big lady there, and then this one is from the Hard Rock Cafe in Anchorage, Alaska.
Really?
Ryan Mudd and Grace from Knoxville, Tennessee. Add those to your collection.
Excellent.
Our next episode is our big holiday episode, and we hope you'll join us for some holiday cheer. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye.
Dear God, muscles, muscles, muscles. Amen.
Everybody hurts sometimes, even when you're bulky.
So I'm coming day and night. I mean, it's terrific, right?